You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what's up.
The Big Show.
It's the big show, and you know this. Yeah. Some say that.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
Yes, they do. Some say that karma is a bitch. That's my man right there.
The Big Show.
It's the big show. You're listening to Truth on Tap.
Okay, so last week
Flexing my radio muscles here, get them ready. This is my friend that stayed in a haunted hotel. Got the shit scared out of her, but just ate more food the next day. Oh, yeah, that's humor. It's the big show. Yeah. You're listening to the big show. You're listening to Truth on Tap. Your host, Kevin Kirsten. What are we going to do tonight? We're going to do a stream of consciousness, but we're going to try to keep it focused on the news. Why not? Why not? Who's it going to hurt? You know? Maybe you're just looking to listen to something that makes sense. You know, what I try to do with this show, and I'm going to keep this down to under 30 seconds, is I try to keep truth and a sideline of reality directly next to my audio so that you are getting the closest thing to reality as possible. But what I also like to do is reveal layers. And I also like to give you a snapshot version, the Cliff's Notes of good, intelligent things for the day. And there it is. That's what I like to do. Could change over time. Maybe not. Occasionally I'll drop a cuss word. Don't mean to. It happens. But if you can bear with me through that, we'll be good to go. Now, tonight, I got to tell you a couple of technical things very quickly. First of all, if you want to call into the show, the number is 910-NO-LYING. You got that? 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. You can call in, you'll be on the air, and we don't screen callers yet, so you can say about anything, but if you get too nutty with it, I may have to just hang up on you. I'll debate you on anything. I will respectfully and honorably disagree with you on some points, or maybe we agree. Doesn't matter. It's got to be talked about. It's got to be talked about. Dialogue is what keeps the movement of society going. Dialogue is the primary point of conversation in this country. I'm a huge patriot, and the academics among you are thinking, oh, you're one of those guys? Oh, no. You know, because patriotism is a trap. It's, you know, this being a statist, you've been indoctrinated into believing your country is greater than all the others. You're wearing the red, white, and blue. They got you acting like a pit bull against other countries. No, that wouldn't be correct. My patriotism has and has always been focused around what is in the Constitution. Because early on in my life, and I wasn't a great student in high school. I became a straight A student in college when I had to pay for it. It's amazing what can motivate you. In high school, I played football. So if you played football, you kind of got gifts. I mean, that's the truth. I know people don't want to hear that, but I was given breaks. So I was lazy. I was playing football. I was working and going to school. I didn't try academically. Had my own learning paths. So that's just the way it was. What are you going to do? In college, I took it seriously and proved what I had learned through all that time. You know, I failed typing twice in high school, used it as a study hall. I can type 70 words a minute now. I mean, you know, it's all about priorities. Isn't that really what it is? So we're doing Stream of Consciousness tonight. Now, I feel a need to explain some of the things about what you're hearing. Who's this guy, especially if you're just tuning into a news show? I'm just a guy. Yep. I'm about as special as John Doe. You know, that's what I got going for me. Occasionally you will hear a little click, a little light. I don't do drugs. What you're hearing is me lighting a cigarette. Well, that is a drug. Yes, I smoke. But I'll quit when I feel like it. That's how that goes. If you've got advice about telling me to quit smoking, fuck off, because I don't want to hear it. I've read the warnings on the packages. I'll quit when I'm ready to quit. But I want to make sure you don't think I'm lighting a crack pipe. And with some of the shit I say, you may think just that, but I'm not. I don't do marijuana. I don't do any illegal drugs. And we're going to talk a little bit about because I got the, see what happens, first of all, I don't use notes, no outlines, no nothing. You may be able to tell that in some cases. Other cases, it might surprise you. But I get these concepts in my head. And just the concept. I don't dig into it. I don't start thinking about, I'll think about like one little point that I want to make, a very broad topic, and I'll stop. When I get a concept for a show, that's where I stop. I pick a couple of broad topics, a couple of subtopics in my head, literally taking less than 10 seconds of my thought time, and I'm done. When I'm ready to go on the air, I go on the air with that only. Then we start talking. I believe as long as you listen more than you talk in life, you'll always have something to offer the people. If you talk more than you listen, you're lagging. You're lagging. You should talk less and listen more. Hear that click? Hear that blowtorch sound? Listen. Yeah. I carry a blowtorch to light my cigarettes. It's a bad idea, but it scares people from stealing my lighter because they think I'll weld them. And I will. God damn it. I'll weld you to a bus seat and kick the bus driver in the ass, send you down the road. Don't steal my lighter, and we won't have that problem. Text chat's going to be a challenge for a while as I get this show rolling out of its initial weeks. What you're going to have to do if you want to get in on that text chat is get me on Google Talk. And you can get me by looking up Mr.Kevin.Kierstead. Get in there and text chat with me. I'll air your views, as long as they're, you know, somewhat related to the topic. I mean, if you start talking to me about gardening and it's not interesting, I'm not going to talk about it unless we're talking about gardening that night. But stream of consciousness, you know, everything goes. I'll be doing this for like 2 hours, people. So get on and get in. Call in. I don't have a huge audience right now. You don't have to be nervous, you know. I may have a huge audience later that listens to past episodes, but you know, I mean, what are the likelihood of that? I don't know. Don't be nervous. I've already done a show on how to beat the fear of public speaking, and I guarantee you that if you listen to it and take it seriously, that 30-minute show will break you of your fear of public speaking. Now, I have not uploaded that episode to Spreaker yet, which is what you're listening to right now. I did upload it. I did record it, as a matter of fact, on blogtalkradio.com. So if you go there and look for Truth on Tap, you'll see the episode. Damn it, spend 30 minutes if you've got a fear of public speaking and listen to that show. And you come back to me and you tell me that if you put into practice what I say in that show, you tell me you haven't beat public speaking, I'll shave my head. I'll shave my head, wear an orange wig, and call myself Fumpalump. Oh yeah, I will. I'll do it too, you know it. Just so you know, next month, probably, I will be wearing an Australian Outback hat, I think. I've always liked them, but didn't want to draw attention to myself. Now, I don't really go anywhere often, work out of my home, disabled. So, who's going to care? But when I do go out, I'm certainly not afraid anymore to draw that kind of attention. I'm not trying to. I wish nobody would ever look at me. Is that fair? Yeah, I wish nobody would ever look at me. I don't want that attention, but I do want to say, hey, I got an Australian Outback hat on because I like them. It represents a certain wild streak in me, even though I can't act on that wild streak as easily anymore. It represents a toughness in me. I'm afraid of nothing. It represents a certain amount of unrefined edge that I have not lost through my education. I have not lost that connection to the caveman, okay? I've got some caveman. It's still there. Being a civilized gentleman has not killed that part of my personality. He's still there, and I keep him there. I don't want him to go away, because that's what keeps me connected to true life on this planet, that caveman mentality. Now, I don't use it often. I am a civilized man in my thinking, but I know he's there, and occasionally he will roar his ugly head, rah, rah, there, Captain Caveman, do that kind of thing. Yeah, you know, whatever. I got him there. I'll use him when I need to. Oh, I'm getting better at this radio thing, y'all. I'm getting more capable in my broadcasting techniques. I'm getting more technically savvy. Now, I was always technically savvy when it came to computers and those types of things. My job in the Air Force, right on through to what I did up to 2010 when I had to stop working, was all technical. It was all on the technical side of things. Taught at a career school. I was the lead electronics instructor. Worked at Gateway in both tech support and IT, to give you an idea. And that was only one of many places I worked on computers and IT. But yet when it came to this broadcasting thing, I was having trouble. Because if you want to take calls, now think of how it's different. All right, let me take you back to 1980. Damn, I love stream of consciousness. I can go anywhere. I love that shit. Oh, I love that. Taking you back to 1980. You want to be on the radio, right? What are you going to do? You're going to go to broadcasting school. You're going to start putting in applications. You're going to routinely call your local radio stations trying to get guest DJ spots. You're going to hope that somebody you know or somebody you're trying to befriend has connections to the inside. What do you do today? You sit down at your 5-year-old laptop computer and click a couple of fucking buttons. You're on. Hallelujah. Thank you, Internet work. Thank you. Thank you. Because I've always had a fantasy that I could have a radio show. I've always had that desire deep in me to connect with people over that medium. As I've said before, the most attractive thing about it is that you have the voice, so you're not just reading text. You can get things from the voice. You can get clues from the voice. You can tell when someone's nervous or lying or whatever. But what you don't get is a visual. That forces you to use your imagination. I love forcing you to use your imagination. Imagination is the most powerful thing in this world, by far. By far. And it is the most underused, by far, in my view, by most people. Work that muscle, brothers and sisters. Get it going. Imagine a better world. Imagine a worse world. Imagine living on another planet. Imagine what if we only had one leg. Imagine if you were eaten by a pterodactyl. Imagine if you went fishing and fell asleep on the boat and woke up in another dimension. Get the brain imagining, and you majorly expand your ability to think big. Okay? Work that imagination muscle. Which is kind of funny because it goes against what I say you're hearing here on Truth on Tap. But don't get confused. Don't even get that mixed up. Imagination is a muscle. Imagination gives you power. What I give you on Truth on Tap, do I force you to use your imagination? Yes. But we give you truth. We give you accurate stuff. There is no lying here. I mean, the fucking number is 910, no lying. What do you want? You know, we're keeping it real. But that doesn't mean you can't use your imagination. That doesn't mean you have to walk the line on information accuracy. As long as you're being real and not making up bullshit, your words are good here. Okay? And if they're verifiable, your words are even better. Because even if they're not verifiable, I do have to note during the show that, hey, this is based on one person's opinion. We can't verify this. Because news doesn't do that often enough. See, I want you to have the option to be as close to reality as you can possibly be. Reality is only one way. It truly is. Everything comes down to perception, though, right? That's why we have different realities. Reality only happens one way. All change is in perception. And I guess for me, I like to at least know what the objective view on reality is, just from deep inside my heart. When I put aside all opinions and I look at what's happening, I want that view. I want that as an option to look at, even though I'm going to prefer to live with my slanted view on things. You know, if you lean left, you lean right. You're communist, you're capitalist, you're socialist, you're whatever. You're going to put those filters over your eyes. That's fine, but be able to, in your mind, once a day for 5 minutes, lean over to that reality spot where you drop all your opinions and you see what's really going on. Just how it's going. Don't have any feelings about it. Just how it's going. Just how the facts are unfolding. That's what we're trying to do with this show. We're giving you that version. It's not always fun, but it is always accurate, and that's what we're going to do. There were a few things I wanted to talk about tonight. One of them was Alex Jones. Occasionally, you may hear me you may hear me kind of just break off and be silent for a minute. That's something I'll try to avoid. I've heard other talk show hosts do this, and it's very annoying to me because it's not professional. But they'll do it literally for 10, 15, 20 seconds because they've got a 3-hour show. And you listen to them talk, and they sound very uninterested in their topic, and they'll just be like, Yeah, well, my team, didn't do too good. And then literally you got like 25, 30 seconds of silence and they go, yeah, I was just checking the chat. Well, no, no. If I'm going to do a radio show like that, I'm just going to turn it off and not do one. What the hell is the point, But occasionally, yes, there's going to be little bouts of silence. I'll try to limit it to 5 seconds where I need to take a drink of coffee like I'm about to do. And I hate that you can hear. I'm trying to work on that. I had a friend tell me it doesn't sound good on the radio. She was right. I'll be reading something. Now, I'm a man, and as you know, men tend to only be able to focus on one thing at a time. That's the way it goes. I focus on one thing at a time, but our strength is we can laser sharp focus on it, whereas women tend to be able to focus on 10 things at a time, but they don't put too much focus onto any one thing at a given time because, I mean, think about it. We'll get into evolution later, and I'll explain that to you. I'm a huge fan of evolutionary psychology. Once again, not a popular view, but I don't take popular views very often. Very seldom do I fall in with the popular view on a given topic, even though politically I find myself dead center line with a slight leftward tilt. How about that? Is that strange? I'm not trying to stand out. I swear to God, I'm just asking my heart and mind what's right on this, and I come up with what I come up with. Don't let popular views change you and who you are. Let your education and your emotions change you and who you are. Go with those feelings. Forget the popular view. If you're just going because everybody else is going with it, what are you? You're a stick floating in the water. You're doing what everybody wants you to do. Well, I'm not a stick. At the very least, I'm a rock, but I really think I'm a big trout swimming upstream because I don't care. I'm going up the stream. I got to get where I'm going. You can't stop me. I'm not biting that hook. Anyway, yeah, you will hear occasional bouts of silence, as I said, because I'll be reading something. For instance, Michaela, who calls in once in a while, just sent me a message, and I see this message pop up, and the whole point I want to give you is I'll be looking at Facebook, I'll be looking at the text chat as I'm doing this radio show. Being that man who can only focus on one thing at a time, yeah, it's going to break me up a little because I can't do the two things at once. Maybe if I keep working on it and keep practicing, I'll be good at it. Maybe. But it's not something I've made a habit of doing. So that's going to take work if it works at all. So deal with that, please. 3 to 5 second spots where I'm going, and that's another thing. I've taught myself not to say, too much. I love that. I love that about what I've learned. And tend to, if you use them too much, I think they spoil a broadcast. I think they spoil a speech, As well as just like I just said, anything you say too often in any broadcast, anything you do too often will be annoying. It'll start to stand out 5-10 minutes into your speech or broadcast. And the next thing you know, people aren't listening to you. They're focused on the annoyance. You've lost them. Okay? Think about that if you're going to give a public speech, if you're going to do a radio show. Don't do any one thing too often, especially if it could be annoying to people. And you may not know it's annoying. You may not realize it at all. Listen to yourself, a recording of yourself, and then ask yourself, what am I doing in this broadcast that could annoy some people? They don't necessarily think like me. What might annoy some people? Now, I realize that what I'm doing right now with, say, for example, my stream of consciousness format, or my very thought process, or my opinions, or my voice itself, all of those things may annoy some people. But those are things that I'm not willing to change. At least I've acknowledged them. I hate my voice, and I don't like talking. Why the hell do I have a talk show? I don't know. I just like it. I do. If you're around me and we're out, sitting at the beach, I'm not going to talk much. This is just a hobby for me that may very well turn into a profession, but certainly fills a part of my needs. And I think also helps me give to the community, whether it's good ideas that I share or pull out of other people to share with you, whether it's just my perpetuation of smart talk to get people talking. None of that matters. It just feels good, and I think I'm giving something back to the community with what I do. I couldn't exactly define that for you right now other than what I've already done, but that's how I feel, and that's why I'm going to keep doing a radio show for as long as I can. Plus, now that I'm only 41, and I figure I probably got another 40 years left on this planet if I'm lucky, I've got a hobby I can stick with, slash profession if it turns into that. And if I get a following, well, we'll have a good time for many years to come. That's going to be great, you know, it's going to be great. I'm not a Howard Stern. I'm not going to have people having sex on the radio. Maybe once in a while we'll do something goofy, you know. I mean, I've got a midget Arab comedian coming on Friday night with his business partner, who is supposed to be even funnier than him. Me, being a giant white imperialist American, well, hell yeah, that's funny. I like that. That makes me laugh. Maybe it doesn't make you laugh. It makes me laugh. His freaking business partner called me today, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to play this call. And I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if you're going to hear it. You probably won't. Shit, let me try it. Let me try it. Yeah, well, if you didn't hear it, he said, "Hey, Kevin, this is something, something." He was mumbling, and I couldn't make it out. You know, Google Translate did a horrific job. Something, something. I'm a friend of Ramsey. Something, something. Silence. Then what does he do? He goes, "This message sucked," and he hangs up the phone. Well, that shit's funny to me. A dude hung up on himself. There's something inherently funny about that to me. He was so frustrated with himself that he attacked himself on my voicemail. That's some funny shit. I want him on my show. You sure do. Especially if he's friends with Ramsey, because for one thing, being on a show with Ramsey, you're getting some comedy. And I'm an honest guy. Ramsey, you got some work to do on your comedy, brother. Just being a midget Arab is not enough. I want you to work on your comedy. Be funnier. Be edgier. All right, these knock-knock jokes and shit, knock them out of your routine, brother. His angle, guys, is that he never tells the same joke twice. Okay, all right, if that's your angle, I recognize the challenge. I do. I don't think it's a good idea, but if that's your angle, that's your angle. I think if you got good jokes, be willing to tell them over and over, but he doesn't. He's chosen this path, and that's fine. I'll support him in it. But if you're coming up with new comedy all the time, make that shit funny, brother. You got to make that shit funny. I'm not a good comedian. I've tried it. I've tried it hard. I can't do it. I don't know if it's my timing. You know, I get these dry humor jokes. You'll hear them on the show. People laugh at me out of sympathy. I'm very sensitive to the types of listening I'm getting in a given crowd, a live crowd. So I can pick that up. I'm not funny. I can't be funny. I give up. So I went and studied and learned all kinds of stuff and hoped that people would like me more for my knowledge. But you can be funny. You are funny. But you need good material at all times. Edgy material, new material that's not stale. And, you know, I heard a couple of your jokes that really lacked, brother. They really lacked. It was something like your Dick Cheney joke. That was good. But there were a couple that just sucked. I mean, even the crowd didn't laugh. They were like, "Oh, that's the punchline? Come on, Ramsey. You can beat that, brother. You're very intelligent." Now, what are me and Ramsey doing? You guys are looking under the surface. We kind of attack each other. I call him a Arab midget terrorist. He calls me a white supremacist imperialist. So we attack each other, but we love each other. And it's important to have an Arab and an American doing a comedy show right now, wouldn't you say? Think about that for a minute. I'll give you a minute. An Arab and an American doing a comedy show together, making fun of religions. We do it all. How about that? You know, who needs that worse than this planet right now? I don't know. We need it. We need something funny between us all to go out, something that will allow people to bridge that gap between the Middle East and the West in a way that's not too painful and not boring. Because throughout the history of humanity, there has been this problem. And as my alien says in the first book I wrote, Name of Alt, Google it, Name of Alt, A-L-T, he says that what humans don't understand, they tend to kill. And don't we? Think about it. Land in America, see people with feathers on their head, kill them. It's what we do. It's what we've always done. We got to get out of that. We got to start understanding. All right. So instead of just saying kill them all, let God sort them out. This is America. What a narrow-minded dickhead view to have. You know that? Who's to say that maybe you won't be reincarnated as somebody in Palestine? Give people a damn break, okay? You're no better than them. Just understand them. Now, if they do something vicious or evil, fuck them. I'm with you. Bomb them. I'm with you. But don't just put them all in the same tank and say, let's nuke them. Come on now. That's ridiculous. There are what, 1-2% of Arabs tops that are Muslims that want to see America, that would actually do harm to America. Probably more like 30% that would like to see America fall because they view us as terrorists. They view us as taking over the world. And in some instances, I can understand that. In other instances, I say, you guys are falling to the propaganda. You're really buying into it. We're not that bad. We're really not. We're not trying to take your country, obviously. We're not trying to kill all your people. We do occasionally meddle too much. We do occasionally try to spread democracy too much. Who's to say democracy is the way? Stop shoving it down people's throats. Let them live how they want to live. One exception, I would say, is things like Syria, where you have an official country's government, an official government, attacking its people, gang raping its children. That's a problem, and that's when you got to step in. And if we don't step in, the UN needs to. So we need to use all of our leverage. We're the standing superpower right now. We may not always be. We need to use all our leverage to get the UN into Syria if we're not going to go. We could run the air campaign and let them do the rest, whatever. Yes, there's terrorists and the rebel forces. They can be weeded out over time. We got to get it to where the Assad regime is not killing, murdering innocent civilians, is not cutting their arms off below the elbow for torture reasons. That's not acceptable. Gang raping 5-year-olds, that's not acceptable. Come on. We can get the terrorist out. That's not an excuse. If you're looking for an excuse not to get in there, you'll find one. I can't help you. I can't help you realize reality on that. The reality is the greatest nation in the world, who has a $15 trillion GDP, next closest being China with $7 trillion, the greatest nation in the world, the richest nation in the world, goes in and stops that in that small country of 22 million people. Goes in and stops the more than 100,000 deaths that have occurred since this rebellion started 2 years ago. And those rebels were rebelling peacefully. They were rebelling peacefully for a year as the Assad regime, Bashar al-Assad, started taking them out. You go to a funeral for a rebel, your head will explode. Oh yeah, long bullets coming from long, far away places from your snipers. You're standing at a funeral, your head will explode. They're going to shoot you. Ambulance comes in to pick you up, they're going to shoot a rocket at the ambulance. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You don't step in and do anything? If you're the most powerful country in the world? That's bullshit. That's just total bullshit. You know it and I know it. We got to do something. Well, we got a bunch of stuff to do here at home. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But don't be fooled. We are not broke. We got some money and we can do this. So, and we can do both. We can do infrastructure. We can do school. We're lacking in education now. Oh, big time. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to get Michaela to call in here if she will. So just give me a second. I don't know if I told you when I was talking about the technical end of things that I broadcast last night's show for about 2 hours in a different format that I didn't think Spreaker would accept. And the whole bottom line is I did it with a lower bit rate. It was like 90 kbits per second versus 120. Bit rate's a big deal. Now, if you go over to Blog Talk Radio, they're only doing 64 kbits. So everybody's complaining about the quality, and I will admit it is shitty quality. Come over to Spreaker, and their minimum is 120 kbits. They sound really good. Gotta admit it. But I was afraid that my DSL connection, which is medium speed, as DSL connections go, it's not at the top end. I get about 2.8 megabits down and 0.7 megabits up. So to do the math for you, if I'm getting a steady 0.7, that would be 720 kbits, or roughly 90 kbytes per second. So 720 kbits, and the broadcast is 120 kbits. So it sounds easy to do, right? But occasionally, if your DSL speed chokes a little, bam, you're not broadcasting for a second. And if that happens for more than a couple seconds, you're cut off. So I was leery of going back up to 120 kbits, but that's what I'm broadcasting in right now. For example, tonight's show, I've been talking for, what, 30 minutes now? And it's already at 28.1 megabytes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching that to see when it cuts me off. Can never be sure when it's going to cut me off. And you know, I'm just going to take a break right now, and you probably need to go pee, right? Everybody has to pee sometimes. I'm going to throw on a Bad Ace song, and it will be titled Without You. Why not? Yeah, I think that's the one I'm in the mood for, Without You. So here goes that.
I thought the world belonged to me. Fast cars and easy women were all that I could see. Drinking booze and smoking till I couldn't get no higher. Every night just looking for someone to light my fire. Well, I got a little older, and my daddy told me, son, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're gonna wind up on the run. When you got to settle down, boy, gotta learn how to behave, or you're gonna drive your mama straight to another grave. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Well, I've had other women, but I didn't feel the same. Some wanted me forever, some didn't even know my name. Some chewed me up and spit my heart in pieces on the floor. But you took me around the world and kept me coming back for more. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, without you, babe. Girl, I couldn't last a moment without you. We got together, you made my spirit soar. Never these new passing down, baby, but I love you so much more. You fill my days with sunshine when the clouds are pouring rain. Girl, you got me so excited, just got to dance insane. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. No, no. Yeah, I'm crawling on the floor. Yeah, I'm knocking at the door. But I can't stop no more. Not without you, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a moment without you. No, no.
You heard it. It was Bad Ace. Without You. Absolute mad skill band. Got the drums going, got the vocals going, got the guitar going, sounding like champions because that's what they are. Bad Ace, you can find them at badace.com. You can find them on Facebook as well, and you can get in touch with them. Request their presence for various venues. They tend to favor work on the Middle Peninsula area, southeastern Virginia, from Virginia Beach all the way up toward Richmond and everything in between. Focusing on as I said, the Northern Neck, the Middle Peninsula area. That'd be Matthews, Gloucester, Yorktown, Middlesex, and areas outside that as well. Get in touch with them. See what they can do for you. My friend, I feel compelled to, because this show is called Truth on Tap and is always about leaving back and front doors open, in other words, not hiding anything, I feel compelled to disclose, if you will, that my friend, Todd, is the drummer in that band. So am I interested in promoting them? Yes, I am. Above and beyond how much I like them, because I want Todd to do well. So yeah, it's true. I'm promoting him a little bit because of that. That's the way it goes. That's life. I'll also promote his business. Anybody around the Northern Neck area, if you need any kind of air conditioner or heating work done, make sure to get in touch with Western Shore Inc. Out of Matthews, Virginia. Todd Jenkins, the owner. They're going to give you a good deal. They're going to give you high quality workmanship, and they're going to come do your repairs when you need them, give you excellent service, and you're not going to find a nicer company to work with that won't screw you on prices. Todd's not like that. I worked with Todd all the way back in high school. I've seen how he is. Todd is the only person I know of that I've never heard anything bad about. Think about that for a second. You live in a small town. You got less than 10,000 people residing in that town. Everybody's talking about everybody. Now, as much as I've tried to remove myself from that crowd and not be a part of that gossip, I've fallen into it a few times. I don't now. You don't hear me talking about people now, not negatively, and we'll talk about negativity later. Remind me if I forget. Call in and remind me. Todd is a guy who was never talked about negatively. I couldn't find one person who would say, damn that Todd, he did this or that. Damn him, he believes this or that. That's how cool he is. It's not often that happens, is it? Damn that Todd, he's a snob. He won't talk to me. Damn that Todd, he's a this or that. You just don't hear it. And you still don't. You still don't 20 years later, in our 40s. And you're still not hearing anything bad about Todd. That's a winner in my book. That's a good guy, y'all. That's a guy you give business to just because of the way he is. You do. That's what I want you to do. And I will be tagging him in this broadcast post just so he knows he's been paid mad homage. Let's get back to stream of consciousness news. Now, see, I misled you, and I'm going to have to change the description of the show. This will happen pretty regularly. I'll get an idea, but then I start bouncing. If it's stream of consciousness, everything goes. Everything is allowed, okay? Unless you're getting crazy. Come on, you know. Things you wouldn't be allowed to type on Facebook, you won't be allowed to say on here. That's a good indicator. I told you that we were doing stream of consciousness news. Now, I got that idea by Googling news and looking for some news for the day, and I couldn't think of a show topic tonight. So what I Googled was, what are some good radio topics for radio shows? And I got a couple of things back. I forget where they were from. And somebody said, hey, you know, if you want to do what all the other damn radio stations across the country are doing, pull up fark.com, F-A-R-K, and just go through them. Well, that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to hit on a few of those headlines because it says real news, real funny. Might as well go through a few of them. Most news today is not that funny. We don't have a happy world right now. I'm going to go check out Newsmax. Should U.S. strike Syria? We will talk politics. We'll talk everything again. And I'm not confining myself to any one topic. Should the U.S. bomb Syria? I want to look at the poll. All right. Do you believe the U.S. should strike Syria militarily for using chemical weapons? I'm going to vote yes. A fillable form has been detected. Well, I don't care. I voted yes. Should Congress authorize President Obama to militarily strike Syria? Well, yes. Who did you vote for in the last election? That's none yet is my answer there. To cast your vote, enter your email address. I'll do just such a thing. And if you want to contact me, it is whatsthedeal@yahoo.com. What's the deal spelled W-U-T-Z, the deal, @yahoo.com. Okay? If you didn't get that, or you need to get my email address, just contact me on the Facebook page. Go to the Facebook page for the show, because it's going to give you all kinds of stuff about the shows. It's also going to offer some free stuff. I'll probably do some promotional item giveaways. Go to the Facebook page, please, and like that page. It is facebook.com/truthontapshow. Just like it sounds, facebook.com/truthontapshow. Don't forget the show, because if you just type in Truth on Tap, it's not going to come up. Let me do my vote here, which will allow me to see the voting. I'm sorry, I was going to say the polling and voting, so it came out voting. The polling results here from Fark. What the Fark is going on? Submit vote. Now, hopefully, it'll let me see what everybody else is. I know I'm against 80% thereabouts of the public in believing that we should hit Syria. Oh, great. So now I got to confirm my email just to see the damn. I'm not liking you. This is Newsmax. My bad. This is Newsmax. I'm not liking you, Newsmax. Not liking you. Making me jump through hoops to look at a poll. Not liking you. No, sir. And I don't even have their confirmation email. Not fast enough. You lose. You lose. You're done. I'm done with you, Newsmax. Gave you a chance. You're outie. That's how I treat them. That's how I treat people. Websites like this. Here, you want to jump through hoops? Oh, you got to confirm your email? Oh, but we didn't even send the email yet? No, I'm done permanently. There are a lot of websites out there, folks. Don't let them fuck with you. Don't let them. Don't let companies fuck with you. You stop patronizing them when they do that to you. Punish them. Don't be so forgiving, in my view, when it comes to anything like that. If you're not being treated well by a company, punish them by taking away your business and bad-mouthing that company. And make sure they know you're bad-mouthing. Make it as public as you can. Change behavior through action. Change behavior through action. That would be the behavioralist view in psychology. Behavioralist view in psychology to me is kind of like the math of psychology, whereas I'm an evolutionary psychology guy. I believe we look at our past 30 or 40,000 years if we want to see why humans behave the way they do. Just my view. So I kind of see them running hand in hand in tandem. I'm good with that. Behavioralism is accurate. It is accurate for what it does, but I don't think it's a good explanation of why it happens. I think evolutionary is. So once again, I'm not popular on that view. Michaela should call me anytime, and we'll do, just to give you a little variety, I'll give you a younger voice on the radio. So let's see, what's next here? I guess I'll go to Fark and go through some of those headlines. You know, let's go ahead and pick the first one. One was a contest, so we'll skip that. But here's the first one, and it comes from Odd Crime as a fail, okay? Last week, this Arizona man was arrested for branding his initials onto girlfriend's vajayjay. This week, he is arrested for making doggy porn. Next week, and it pauses. Well, let's pull it up. Like this. Yeah, you want to bitch slap him with a rainbow trout, don't you? And just for the noise, if nothing else. 49-year-old dude in Arizona. Yeah, wow. Oh, lordy. They got pictures of him and her, and they both look like they've shit their pants and no one will let them change their pants. It's an unhappy look. You know, don't do stupid shit like that. You won't go to jail for it. That's all I have to say about that. Good for you, doggy porn boy. Interbreeding kind of deal there is heavily frowned upon by the legal community, if you didn't know. Fark feeds our squirrel with revenue from ads. Please whitelist us in the ad block no script, your ad blocker of choice, read more, or please consider joining Fark Talk. You're not messing with me, are you, Fark? Because I kind of liked you at the beginning. I don't want you starting to pop up all kinds of messages. CBS, 12 photos that will make you fall in love with James Woke. That's not going to work. I'm on the radio. Mysterious, now this one gets me. Mysterious smell surreptitiously returns to New York. If you know the definition of the word surreptitious, it means in a underhanded way, in a kind of hiding, camouflaged way. To do something surreptitiously is to do something sneakily. But they spelled surreptitiously, the first part of it, S-Y-R-U-P. Alright, so now we've got a clue as I click on the link that some apparently left New York. Syrup smell to New York City. Since 2005, New Yorkers have complained of the smell from time to time, and Michael Bloomberg once identified the factory as the cause. We're talking about a factory in New Jersey that apparently makes maple syrup. Alright. You know, what more can I say about that? I like the smell of maple syrup. Do you? Do you like the taste? I used to live in Vermont. They did the real deal there. If you don't have maple syrup, you use that Aunt Jemima shit, they'll throw it across the room. They don't go for that. You know, they need the real stuff. Man accuses co-worker of crushing his lunch, proceeds to beat him, resulting in a crushed lunch and assault charges. I'm not even pulling that one up. It's self-explanatory. Now this one looks very interesting. Shockingly, the rocket scientist who had an elaborate plan to attack a mosque with bacon failed to get away with it. You hear that? Bacon. Bacon, I'm reading, may hardly qualify as a lethal object, but cured pig carcass was the weapon of choice for Wayne Stillwell, who was sentenced to 10 months in jail after hurling bacon into the Central Mosque in Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah. Stillwell, 25, wrapped the door handles with the meat product and then threw it through the doors and onto, let me get rid of the pop-up. Okay, strike one. The website is opposingviews.com. Did a pop-up right in the middle of my reading. Don't like. Stillwell, 25, wrapped the doors, in his words, Muslims regard bacon as unclean. That's true. And I believe the Jews do too. The mosque had a security camera in place which captured the incident. He was taken into custody and pled guilty to breach of the peace. Grossly offensive. And here's something. Sheriff Gordon Little called Stillwell's actions grossly offensive and noted, a custodial sentence is inevitable. A custodial sentence. As a matter of routine. As a matter of cleaning up the garbage. A custodial sentence. Yeah. In the United States, some anti-Muslim activists have taken Stillwell's idea one step further with the invention of bacon-laced bullets, which brought record sales for the North Idaho manufacturer. Oh yeah. Jihawg ammo, Jihawg, that's J-I-H-A-W-G, ammo, designed to send Muslims straight to hell, that's a quote-unquote, assumes that because Muslims shun pork, their God, why would it be different than the Christian God if there is only one true Lord, will punish them by sending them to hell. Novel as the idea may be, religious study professor Shannon Dunn of Gonzaga University told the Religion News Service, there is no penalty for coming into contact with pork given by the Quran. To my knowledge, Muslims, especially unknowingly, would not be banned from heaven for eating or getting hit by pork. How the fuck did this even make the news, is what I want to know. My God. You know, some of this shit baffles me. It really does. It really does. Yeah, what am I going to do about it? Oh, let's see. How long have we been broadcasting here? Are we on? Says we are. It's been 44 megabytes. Been going 48 minutes. Like I said, I'm not much of a talker, and I don't talk that often. Therefore, doing this kind of talk gets my vocal cords sore. So we will be taking occasional breaks. Go pee-pee, go poo-poo. I will put on Bad Ace, Falling Faces for a few moments. That'll be 3 minutes and 8 seconds worth for you. And I'll get a sip of my coffee and relax those vocal cords for a minute. Hit it.
Up next to falling faces off the wall, and I creep these hallways and the tears have cried for you. I'm falling, falling, torn between the dark and light, and I'm calling, calling for your kiss to calm the fire. too late for fantasies, but I've always dreamed you'd be the one for me. Now I see it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. I'll not be free, 'cause I never was a true believer. I want you to know I was better off dreaming anyway. I'm no longer waiting outside for you today. My, it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. So don't tell me you can find another friend to fill your down, child. No, just leave me. I was never anyone to care about. Now I'm crawling on another bedroom floor for sand. And I'm stealing and feeling these black and whites I'll never see again. I want you to know I was better off dreaming anyway. I'm no longer waiting outside for you today or any other day. My, and there's not much to say. I was thrown out your door. Don't even know what I was begging for. My, it's another lonely night for dreaming.
There you heard it, Bad Ace. That was, I thought it was Falling Faces. I hope it was, because that's what I'm calling it. I play their songs so often that I get them mixed up. A couple technical things here. I'm using something called SAM Broadcaster. S-A-M. It's a great program. It's not real pretty to look at. It's just a bunch of separate open windows for various controls. I'm not an audio guy. I've never been an audiophile, so I don't understand a lot of it from a technical side. I've never worked much on audio, just on computers and electronics in general. So I'm looking at all these windows open. Like right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now a couple of those aren't complex. I mean, one's a clock, for example. But I don't have it organized yet the way I want to. And there are actually 3 separate desktops, so I can click desktop A, B, or C and get a different set of panels up. For example, you can see how many people are listening to your show. You can view failures in transmission, all kinds of stuff like that. I like this, the way it's set up. It's got a deck A and a deck B, so you can fade into a new song. But over on the playlist side of things, everything's kind of jumbled for me right now. I've got sound effects mixed in with Bad Ace songs. So I got to work that out, but that's just something that comes with time. C'est la vie. No harm, no foul. Sound effects. People feel differently about it. I think what I'm going to do with sound effects, occasionally I may end a joke with one that's appropriate. I may occasionally tell a story, probably an attempt at a funny story with appropriate sound effects in place, because if you're using sound effects just to use them, I think people get annoyed. Yeah, I don't know. Why don't you let me know how you feel about that on the Facebook page, facebook.com/truthontapshow. I've got some sound effects loaded right now. You know, occasionally I'll do a station ID like this one, so get ready for that.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Yeah, just to remind you of the greatness of this show. And who do you think that was announcing? If you haven't heard the show before, take a wild guess. I'll give you a clue, okay? I've got 2 radio shows that I do, 2 separate ones. One is Truth on Tap. The other is called Caps on Tap. based on the Washington Capitals. Knowing that clue, who do you think did that voiceover for me? I'll give you 3 guesses. Mr. Wes Johnson, the greatest voice to ever come over speakers. He will get you so electrified at a Capitals game, you'll spill your beer on the person behind you. And that's not even possible, because they're behind you and up. That's how excited you'll get. If you look at people dancing in the crowd at a Caps game, some of them look terrified. You know why? It's because they don't want to be dancing, but Wes forces them to dance. So they're all moving around, all functified, with looks of horror on their face, like they're about to go down the first drop of a roller coaster. Yeah, that's Wes doing his thing. That's how he operates. I'm glad he loves what he does, and I admire anybody who has passion in their job, regardless of the job, so long as it's legal. And nobody has more passion than him at their job. I mean, even when there's 1 minute left in a period, you'll hear Wes go, 1 minute left in the period. Even that, it just, damn, Wes, go, you know? Yeah, we don't need any help in the PA department for the Washington Capitals, because Wes has that not only under control, but mastered. He is to the PA part of the Capitals what OV is to the hockey part of the Capitals. Remember that. Don't forget that. He's the man. And if you ever need a voiceover, you can get in touch with him. He may sell them, I don't know. But nobody sounds better than him. Even that movie guy. You know the movie guy. You know the movie guy. One man. I can't even get there. I can imitate a lot of voices, and I can't hit low enough to get that one. But I can do Imus. You like Imus? You like Imus in the morning? I'll do a little bit of Imus for you. I mean, you know, the whole thing with Imus is he tends to sound like his lips are inside his nose, really is what it comes down to, you know. And you add to that, basically, a little bit of the fact that he sounds drunk most of the time, but then again, so does Boehner, you know. And let's hope that that's not the case. If I'm Amish, I'm not drinking, on the job, at least. And occasionally, I'll mumble shit, you know. You just have to like the sound of my nasally voice to appreciate that without knowing what the actual words were. You can come out to the ranch and ride a cow with me. Did you know if you slap a cow on the ass, you can get, well, I don't know, get them go about 20 miles an hour, sometimes 21. Come out to the ranch, we'll talk about some nappy-headed hoes, you know. Those are some nappy-headed hoes right there, aren't they? Yeah, you remember that? That got me into trouble. Got me into trouble saying that before. Well, that's life. I'm back. Most people don't realize that I look like an anteater, and that's why I talk like this. Well, because I have a cowboy hat that I wear, and I pull it down over my snout. But yes, in fact, my lips are in my nose. And there you go. Now, that hurts my voice a little to do that, because I have to take it deep and go nasal. If you know anything about voice, about singing or anything, I've never tried singing and I'm never going to. The few times I've done it in the shower, I've terrified myself. I don't even like the sound of my voice. So, whatever. But it hurts when you go low. A lot of guys, young teenage kids, will actually make themselves hoarse when they hit that age where they want to sound like they have a deeper voice, so they purposely talk lower, because that strains and stresses the vocal cords. It stretches them out. Don't do that. That's not necessary. That's crazy. Just talk how you are. If you want to do impersonations, well, go for it. Practice and do. I wanted to practice and do a few more. I wanted to learn, you know, all the traditional ones, all the ones you've heard, and maybe add, gosh, I don't know, add people like Matt Damon. Who's the guy that played in the Pirates of the Caribbean? You know him. Wanted to add him. A few stars, a few political and Hollywood stars. A few of the people you see in the news too often. I can do that, but now that I'm older, I don't see that as important as I used to. I used to see voice impersonations as kind of important. You know, it was sort of part of my, whenever I attempted comedy, that was part of it, do the impersonations. Did you know, speaking of that, do you remember the lady on Happy Days that played the mom? Remember her? Had the orange hair, always soft-spoken. She had a son, and may have more kids than that, but at least a son. He does voice impersonations, and he does it professionally. He will read an entire work of Shakespeare, for example, while a volunteer from the crowd comes up and picks the person who he's going to sound like for the next 2 lines of the work out of a list of over 100 voices. That's pretty crafty. Only problem is he doesn't nail them all. Yeah, he doesn't really get them all. The ones he gets well, but the ones he doesn't get, he tends to sound pretty bad on. I'm going, that doesn't sound like who you say it sounds like. You know, I mean, Christopher Walken, here's how he does his Christopher Walken, because my Christopher Walken sucks, but so does his. So this is what he really sounds like. Hello, kids. Maybe today you can come join me over here. We'll do something fun. You know? That's how he sounds doing Christopher Walken. Sucks. Yeah, it does. You got to practice something like that. You got to get their mannerism down. The way they move their heads and lips can form words in a certain way. You got to copy that. De Niro, Pacino. I can do those guys, but I have to practice. I have to warm up and get in the mood. So I won't be doing any of those for you tonight. Imus's is just kind of funny. That's why I do him. I'm just sort of entertained by his voice. And it sucks that people with voices like that are automatically given radio shows. I think that's a terrible thing. Personally, I think people who have something to talk about that's interesting ought to be more likely to get a show than somebody who can talk like this. I mean, talk out his fucking nose, you know. They say that to be a good radio voice, when you speak, the whole front of your face should vibrate. It should sound more like this. Whatever. You know? Maybe that's true, but I can't, and I might train my voice a little bit to try to get more vibration in my face, but I'm not going to sound like Don Imus. I don't want to. The nasal sound sounds like you've got a medical problem to me. It does. It sounds like part of your throat or part of your mouth has been sealed shut with super glue, so half of it's coming out of your nose. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't compared that before. This is all off the top of my head. Speaking of such, stream of consciousness, jumping around, back to fark.com. Fark, a funny news source according to its own claims, has one topic here from a paper called Globe and Mail. Looks like a Canadian joint. And their asinine section says, government wants to revoke licenses of teachers convicted of sex crimes. Wait, what? They haven't been doing that so far? Well, apparently not. Let's go. No, recently they had the female teacher, I guess, sent to 1 month of jail for having sex with a, I think it was a female teacher. I know there was a recent one with a female teacher. I hope I'm not getting my cases crossed here. But I thought it was a female teacher having sex with a female girl who was underage. If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong. Correct me if you would. Yeah, taken away their, so they don't lose their license by default. They can continue to teach after they get out. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. Do you? You know, being convicted of a sex crime may be one thing. They already, you know, make you very public. Type in anybody's name and put the word sex crime beside it, and you will get results if they've been convicted of a sex crime. Everybody knows. Everybody's allowed to know. They're usually required to post it in their front yard, okay, if it's an underage sex crime. And in a lot of cases, it can be an overage sex crime. It can be 18 or above, but you're still going to have to post it if you're guilty of rape or something like that. So here's what happens, though. Now, I believe that for most of those people, pedophiles in particular, you can't fix them. You can't. But maybe in prison, you can reform them enough to control themselves. We agree in this country, as a premise of American life, that once you've paid your due and served your penalty, we wipe your slate clean. You know, You may have that slate, that old slate, used to judge you if you commit a further crime, and I'm all for that. I'm all for the concept of suspended sentence. But once someone has paid their dues, you got to give them a chance again. You know, you're saying what, the viciousness of the crime could make a person not eligible to get a clean slate again? You know, let's not do that. It may not even feel fair, but it is fair. It is fair. In the eyes of the law, it's fair, and it's a fair way of thinking. They've paid their dues, they've served their time in prison, they have paid the fines, they've been given the punishment by the judge and or the jury. Let's let them have a chance again. Now, if they do it a second time, damn, I lose a lot of respect there. I lose a lot of my typical American fairness there. I say, well, we gave you a chance and you did it again. Fuck it. Throw away the key. Yeah, we tried. We tried, man. You just can't control yourself. All right, well, maybe that's wrong too, and maybe that's not fair, but that's where my emotions kick in. When I give somebody a chance, and I always give people a second chance, and they fuck me again, or society at large, especially when it comes to children, I'm done. Emotionally, I'm done at that point. Legally speaking, from an objective standpoint, I'm going to look at reform, and I'm going to look at what the law says is appropriate for a second offender. But that's life. How do you feel about it when there's somebody guilty of that kind of crime? Do you throw them under the jail? Do you try to get them the proper help from a psychiatrist that would actually correct them? Do you set them ablaze? Go ahead and give them the death penalty for hurting a child or performing a sex crime? Sex crimes are seen as the most likely to cause post-traumatic stress disorder, and they are also the most likely to make a person feel fully out of control. In other words, if you're guilty of raping someone, that means you've taken full control from them. Full control. And how does it feel to a person who has no control over what's happening to them? It would be the same as if a doctor snuck into your house and snuck a shot of anesthesia into you and you were paralyzed. And when you woke up, he was cutting out your kidneys. That's what lack of control feels like. So I hope you pay for it if you do it. You know, we are animals. Let's face that fact. Human beings, we like to report ourselves, and if we were to introduce ourselves to an alien civilization, we like to report ourselves as this civilized society, quite above the animalistic behaviors of our less intelligent counterparts down the food chain. No, that's not accurate. If I'm talking to the alien, here's what I'm saying. Thank you for giving us a chance to communicate with you, alien. Thank you. I need to tell you, we're not very refined. We are getting into the age of refinement for human behaviors, being less animalistic, but we're not there. We are animals. We most certainly are animals with thumbs and the ability to communicate well. That's it. That's all. Everything else is learned. The behaviors are learned and imitated in most often cases. But when you're put under the gun, when you're backed into a corner, when you have the strong urges of sex, reproduction hitting you, you turn into an animal. You will turn into an animal. And the question is, how much of yourself can you control? Isn't that what separates a good man from a bad one? I think it is. I think it is. We all have impure thoughts. Yes, we do. And you're lying if you say you don't, or you're just detached. We all have impure thoughts. And the question is, can you control them? And then another better question is, do you control them out of fear of what the law would do to you? In other words, if it wasn't illegal, what these impure thoughts are telling you to do, if it wasn't illegal, would you go ahead and do it? Or would you not do it because it's not right? That defines a man to me. If you're just doing that out of fear, well, screw you. I don't have any respect for you. Fear of the law. But if you're doing it because you know it's not right, if you're restraining yourself because you know it's wrong to not restrain yourself in a given situation, good for you. Good for you. I'm proud of another human who has control over their animalistic side. But should we be expected to have full control over it all the time? You know, we sure do like to judge, don't we? We sure do. God, we love to judge. But we're all animals. We're all animals. You don't think you're an animal? All right. let me send somebody over to your house to punch your child in the face. And then you tell me you're not a fucking animal. Because I guarantee you, you will become an animal instantly. You don't think you're an animal? Let me send somebody over to your house to stab your family and then come at you. Let me put you in a bank robbery and have the bank robber shoot everybody in the bank and then aim his gun at you. And you tell me you're not an animal. You're an animal. You're an animal. You just need to be introduced to the right circumstances. Everybody's capable of murder. Everybody. Everybody's capable of killing. Everybody's capable of other crimes. Our animalistic urges are not always able to be controlled if they're strong enough. Something to keep in mind. We are animals. And there's a part of me that wants to give us a break for that. Do you have a part of you that says that? There's a part of me that says, come on, we're just humans, you know, don't expect too much of us. Let's see how long we've been on here. I've been broadcasting for, I gotta mess with this window here. Oh, 1 hour and 11 minutes and 7 seconds. 65 megabytes up there so far. Well, the broadcast says 128, so something is in disagreement here, and we'll figure it out. I'll probably go, oh, no, I think it was giving me the time. I'll probably go to 1 hour and a half on this show, because if I make them too long, then if any parts are boring, that makes the whole show boring, and I like to cut it while it's still full of goodness. But I do have 3 hours okay, let me read the fuck wind. I do have 3 hours per broadcast to air my show. Then the limits of my account at this time on Spreaker.com force me to log out, or not log out, but stop broadcasting at that 3 hour mark and then log in again. Now, I can broadcast 24 hours a day. That's what I love about Spreaker. Blog Talk Radio, you get a fixed amount of hours and then you're done. You can't keep going. With Spreaker, you can just log out and log back in, do another show. But now, naturally, that's not convenient for your listeners because now they've got to click on a new link to listen to that show. So I'm trying to figure out smooth ways of helping to transition my listeners onto a next show. But the chances of me talking longer than 3 hours, pretty much nil. We've got to have something big going on. We've got to have an interested crowd, people saying keep going, keep going. Then I might go over 3 hours. But the chances of me even doing 2 hours at this point are pretty slim. A lot of radio shows are good enough at 30 minutes. It's life. I'm not going to do sound effects tonight. Again, I'll work on some sort of story of some type that involves sound effects because they're fun sometimes, you know, especially if they're famous people or, and then they're, you know, I got to look at copyright issues. I get my sound effects from what says free for commercial use, and because I technically can earn money on this program by airing commercials, then I guess I am commercial use. So I have to make sure that all my sound effects are truly able to be broadcast, because not only could I get sued for that, but I could get kicked off of somebody like Spreaker, and I don't want that to happen. So I got to be real careful with the copyright stuff. So I can't get all the greatest sound effects because of that. You know, I'm not going to tell you every time I want to make a hockey puck sound, by the way, that sound effect brought to you by so-and-so corporation, published in 1994, da-da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Fuck that. You know, who's going to listen to that? So I'm going for those royalty-free, free sound effects that are allowed to be used in commercial projects, and that limits my selection. So, like I said, I'll do sound effects to basically support a show or make it fun. Just not tonight. A lot of times the news isn't good, so I'm not going to be in that fun mood. You know, I'm human. But I'll try to bring you a show every other day or so. Maybe start doing it every day. I've got to learn to speak longer and not have my voice get tired and sore and overused like it is now. It is overused. I mean, I'm tired of talking. I'm not a talker. So if you're not a natural talker, you know, 2 hours is a hell of a stretch to be talking. And on radio, you can't have gaps. You got to keep going. Those who have listened to me tonight, I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Those who are listening later to this recorded episode, I feel you. I like you. I appreciate that. If you've got some ideas for my show, things you'd like to hear, or just ideas in general. Why don't you go over to the Facebook page and post them right on the page so everybody can see? I would really appreciate that. The page is facebook.com/truthontapshow. It's facebook.com/truthontapshow. Whenever we're doing a show, you can always call in at 910-NO-LYING. Or you can get in on the chat, which currently, as of this broadcast, is using your chat, multi-platform chat client, whatever you have, to get me on Google Talk, which is, my name on there is Mr., that's Mr.Kevin.Kierstead, K-I-E-R, Stead, as in steady without the Y. That's how you can get me on there, and get me on there and chat, and I'll air your views. We can talk about it right on the show. You know, you can tell me if you want me to use your name or not. You can remain anonymous. That's how that goes. So what I'm going to do here is load up. Actually, I'm going to load up 2 Bad Ace songs, and we'll lead out with those. So if you're into Bad Ace, good for you. We're going to have 2 to leave the show with. One of them is going to be called Reality Check, and there's one that they like themselves, and I believe it is Matchbox, and I'm not seeing it here. Ah, there it is. We'll do Matchbox. My voice is actually sore right now. I've got a sore throat, so I'm seriously done, y'all. Alright, we're going to play these songs. I want to thank you for listening. You've been listening to Truth on Tap with your host, Kevin Kierstead. I am straight the fuck out.
Just 16, then you became my high school dream. I didn't tell anyone my feelings for you. I kept them balled up inside. I didn't realize, you felt it too. Told me you were interested, and my heart dropped to the floor, because you didn't know just how I felt. I kept it hidden so well. You didn't realize, no, I felt it too. Feeling this way. But you called later on, sitting lonely by the telephone. And we talked a little while, yeah, and I made you laugh. And on the next day, I walked to the class. We didn't realize, no, we felt this way.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin.
Come true. We were together as one. feeling this way. Ran across your picture, baby, just the other day. Imagine conversation, you knew just what to say. You held you in my arms and never let you go. And I realized I love you ever more. I didn't realize, I didn't realize I felt so strong for you. I didn't know that I could feel this way, even on such a cloudy day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so good inside. Feeling this way.
Bad Ace, just so you know. And here's some.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kears.
I've got an answer to the question that you asked me some years ago. Do you ever think you're gonna find your freedom on a matchbox floor? I'm telling you now, it's been lonely, it's been cold. I've been selling, I've been sold, but they never did break my love. It's been a long, long ride. It was never so easy to be caught up in the rain with a pocket full of shame. No prescription for the pain, your connection's down again. Sooner or later your eyes go blind. You come back down for a friend to find, but they all left you behind. There ain't no profit for pride on the east side. No, 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 no. And the dogs that leave you for dead on the county line. And you hide all your dreams in a matchbox on the floor. No. And you're paying the guy, the man on your door. Best you'll ever know. So do another one on the floor and beg for more until you do your copy such as gracefully. Now you're lowering your flash. And as I bring up the bags, pictures and do what they say, and you walk another line, but you better take your time. Oh, the creeps are sure to lead you back to shadows where the thieves will steal your dreams. And the preachers will show you, then pretend they don't know you, and the stranger will stone you and politely condone you. Yeah, but ain't that life? There ain't no profit for pride on the east side. No, 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 no. And the dogs will leave you for dead on the county line. And you hide all your dreams in a matchbox on the floor. Oh no. And you're praying to God to